Welcome to This Explainer. Now, what if I told you that mastering English, and honestly just improving your overall life, doesn't actually require this monumental, exhausting, grinded out kind of effort? Seriously, today we're exploring a really fascinating breakthrough in how we actually learn. We're going to focus on incredibly simple daily habits that optimize the absolute most powerful tool you have at your disposal, your brain. So let's dive right into this. You know that feeling when you're struggling to find the right words? Or when learning a new language just feels impossibly overwhelmingly heavy? We almost always blame ourselves, right? We think, oh, I'm just not smart enough, or I'm clearly not studying hard enough, or I just don't have the language gene. But it turns out the real problem is often completely biological. It is not a lack of willpower, guys. It is a lack of cognitive energy. Think of it exactly like this. Your brain is a muscle. If it's exhausted, if it's stressed out, if it's running on fumes, your life and your language skills are absolutely going to suffer. You become forgetful, you get nervous, everything feels slow and confusing. But when you actively cultivate a strong, rested brain, everything flips. It becomes clear. You feel confident. And the best part? It absorbs English naturally, literally like a sponge soaking up water. To make this super practical for you today, we've broken this down into 6 logical pillars. First, understanding how your brain controls your fluency. Second, fueling the physical brain. Third, calming your emotional mind. Fourth, optimizing your daily inputs. Fifth, the true power of community. And finally, starting with just one single habit. All right, let's get into it. Starting right off with Pillar 1, your brain controls your fluency. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you don't need endless amounts of money. You don't need fancy, expensive tutors, and you don't need massive, disruptive life changes to succeed in English. What you actually need is a brain that is calm, clear, and ready to work for you rather than against you. Because if your brain is tired, your decisions are going to be weak, and your fluency is just going to stall out. Keep that muscle strong, though, and your capacity to learn expands dramatically. Which brings us smoothly to Pillar 2, fueling your physical brain. There are 3 critical everyday habits that you are probably overlooking right now: deep sleep, natural food, and sunlight. Now, these aren't just your standard boring health tips. They are the actual physical prerequisites that refresh your brain, allowing you to understand English so much faster and speak it so much more clearly. Let's break exactly why that happens down. I want you to think of your brain exactly like your phone battery. If you use your phone all day long, running a dozen apps, and you never actually plug it into charge, it dies. Your brain is exactly the same. Without deep, undisturbed rest, it simply cannot hold on to new English vocabulary, period. Sleep is literally when your brain physically cleans itself and organizes all that new information you learned during the day. Without that repair time, you're going to wake up feeling heavy, lazy, and completely unready to practice. Now combine that deep rest with clean, natural food. We're talking fresh fruits, vegetables, and plenty of hydration. Because heavy junk food and sugar, yeah, they might taste amazing in the moment, but they give your brain incredibly weak fuel. That leads to those sudden afternoon crashes where you just feel foggy and confused. Mix clean food with just 10 to 20 minutes of daily sunlight. Maybe a short morning walk, completely without your phone, and your brain becomes chemically primed and energized to learn. All right, so once the physical brain is fueled up, we absolutely have to look at Pillar 3, calming your emotional mind. Here is a truly fascinating biological truth. Serious, stressed out brains simply cannot learn effectively. It's impossible. If you are constantly worried about sounding silly or making mistakes, your brain basically enters lockdown mode. You need active emotional relief. Things like genuine laughter, human connection, like a real hug from a friend, and quiet moments of meditation. These are essential tools. They lower your baseline stress and literally eliminate that paralyzing fear of speaking English. Think about what actually happens in your body when you feel truly safe. Maybe you just got a big hug or you had a really great belly-aching laugh. Your whole body relaxes, your breathing naturally slows down, and your confidence just goes up. In this relaxed state, you achieve what we call an open mind. This is the magic zone. This is when your words begin to flow naturally in English, totally free from that panicked overthinking that usually trips you up. Try this little trick. Physically smile while you're practicing speaking English alone. It instantly sends a signal to your brain that you are safe. And to further cultivate that feeling of safety, we can demystify meditation.
It is such a highly accessible practice, guys. It is not about becoming a monk, achieving absolute silence, or somehow forcefully stopping your thoughts. No way. It's literally just giving your brain a tiny, silent rest from the constant, chaotic noise of daily life. Just 5 minutes. You sit, you breathe, you observe your thoughts without getting mad at yourself for having them, and you just let them pass by. This quiet rest translates directly into speaking slower, much clearer English without the panic.
Moving right along. With our physical and emotional foundations firmly set, we hit Pillar 4, optimizing your daily inputs.
Things like travel, music, and reading, they aren't just fun little hobbies to pass the time. They are highly strategic tools. They alter your brain's chemistry, they completely expand your mindset, and they help you naturally absorb English structure without it ever feeling like you're sitting down to study.
Let's look at travel for a second. You absolutely do not need an expensive 2-week vacation. The brain simply grows when it sees new things. So just changing your daily routine, walking down a completely new street or visiting a different park for 30 minutes, forces your brain to wake up from its daily autopilot mode. It starts observing again. And here's the absolute best trick. Use this fresh opportunity to look around and silently describe the new things you're seeing in simple English. You're training your brain to think in the language in real time.
That exact same intentionality applies to how we read. Look, most of us are completely used to fast, shallow information from scrolling on our phones all day, and that totally weakens our focus. But simple, consistent reading, that builds deep focus and sharpens memory. The key here is not to frustrate yourself with massive, difficult textbooks. Just read easy English short stories for 10 minutes a day. You'll naturally pick up sentence structures and vocabulary. It is the absolute ultimate antidote to our distracted, fast-scrolling culture. Our fifth pillar shifts the focus slightly outward, the power of community. Because to truly succeed at this, we really need to grow together. Your brain is constantly, actively copying your environment. It's like osmosis. If you surround yourself with negative people who constantly complain, or worse, who mock your efforts to learn a language, your brain will adopt that negativity. It creates doubt and fear. But on the flip side, positive environments support your learning. They encourage you to share ideas, and they literally build the confidence you need to speak up. So, the crucial point here is that you must actively choose your community. And listen, you do not need a massive group of friends doing this with you. Even just one supportive person, someone you can practice with who absolutely won't judge your mistakes, is enough to transform the heavy burden of learning into a shared joy. And hey, if you don't have someone like that nearby, go seek out a positive virtual community online. They are everywhere. Wow, okay. We have covered a ton of ground today across physical, emotional, and environmental habits. Which brings us to our final stop, Pillar 6, start with one habit. Here is the biggest trap we all fall into, getting completely overwhelmed. You are not supposed to radically change your diet, start meditating daily, read a book, and go outside for a walk all on the exact same day. That is just a recipe for failure and burnout. Instead, simply pick one micro habit right now. Maybe it's just drinking a glass of water when you wake up or listening to 5 minutes of calm music before bed. Pick one and apply it consistently. So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. Real change doesn't come from just passively consuming information on a screen. It comes from doing. So ask yourself honestly right now, will you just watch this explainer and go right back to your normal routine? Or which single, tiny habit will you start today to build your strong brain? The choice is entirely yours.